So I'm assuming that you're all on Twitter. You have varying sizes of followings. I think what you're going to come away with here is a methodology and a structure, if you care to implement it, will allow you to grow a really great Twitter following within 60 to 90 days. So when you think about building an audience, where are you going to start? Let's start where a plan. Create a really easy plan for yourself. Who is your audience and what are their attributes? Who are your blog readers? What are their interests? What do you write about? Let's think about some of their demographics. Is your audience primarily female and mommy bloggers? Are they single male tech geeks? Write these things down. Start creating an audience profile. If you could find these people and you could find your direct audience, let's profile them a little. What are their interests? What do they talk about? Are they interested in blogging platforms? Are they interested in iPhones? Are they interested in the latest tech gadgets? What communities do they belong to? This is a perfect example. Triber is a community. How could you find other people like Tribers on Twitter? What are they talking about? Very important about building relationships on Twitter is being able to approach somebody authentically and relevantly to get their attention quick. If somebody's talking about blogging and you're talking about iPhones, you're probably not going to connect. You're not going to get that good connection. So pay attention to what they're talking to and then talk to them in their language in a way that you can make a quick connection. Where do they hang out? What hashtag communities do they belong to? What groups do they belong to, kind of on a macro sense? Start kind of like creating that word cloud of you. If you could find your people, your best people in one spot, where might that be? The first and best place to start applying this methodology is in your own follower base. I don't know about you guys, but as I was building my Twitter following from scratch, starting last January, starting from 0 up to whatever it is now, 2,800 people or so, the first 200 or so, I had a pretty good idea of who everybody was. I could recognize them by sight. I knew what they were talking about. And I could, if you pointed at somebody, I could say, oh yeah, Dina Dogan, Triber, blogger, whatever. But once it started getting up into like the 500, 600 range, I started getting more momentum on organic followers. I started losing touch with those new people that were following me. So, and especially once you get up into, thousands of followers, there's something I call Twitter gold in your follower base. That's a percentage of your existing followers that you're not communicating with, that you should be. And I put this at a very arbitrary number, but I'm just going to say it's at least 20% of your existing following base are people that you could probably make a really great connection with, but you got to find out who they are. You got to dig into that following. You got to mine for Twitter gold. And how do you do that? You need a platform, because it's not feasible for you to go into your following, especially when you get into the high 3 figures and the 4 figures, to waste that time that we've heard about before. Like, how valuable is your time to dig in and go through everybody's profile and see if they're relevant to you? Platforms will help you do that. Platforms that help you database your followers, there's not a lot of them out there that do it in the way that Internet Media Labs does. And I'm going to be referencing a couple of our own products. One of them is OneCube, which is going to come out at the end of October, and one of them is Seesaw, which is our real-time discovery platform that some of you are already familiar with and use to follow hashtags and get engaged in communities. Social Bro, to me, in doing a lot of research, is one of those platforms that allows you to pull in your followers and then be able to search against those followers in a very granular level. OneCube, our platform, which I hope you're all going to try out when we open up the beta next month, does it in a really effective and neat way. So, step 1, go into your Twitter following daily. Look for 5 new relationships. Really easy task. Look for 5 people to reinvigorate, reintroduce yourself to them, and get a conversation started. So, you want to find somebody, bacon. I am introducing bacon into the event right now, which is always a kiss of death in a live chat. As soon as somebody mentions bacon, the chat just goes to crap. But I have 2,800 followers, and I have a blog post about bacon. How am I going to connect that blog post to somebody in my following that's talking about bacon? I'm going to show you the inside of OneCube right now. This is functionality that you're going to have access to in about 4 weeks. Without technology, it's completely impractical. I've estimated on the short side, it would take a minute to scan each one of your followers' bios to see if they're talking about bacon or their tweets. So every 1,000 followers, that's 16 manpower hours. It's not going to happen. With technology, it would literally take a nanosecond. So in OneCube next month, you're going to be able to enter the keyword bacon and hit submit. Oh, surprise, surprise, look who comes up. Our own Amy Vernon, right? The bacon queen. So we instantly able to find Amy. And this is why, because she has bacon queen in her bio. So if I didn't know that, of course, everybody in the Twitter sphere knows that Amy is the bacon queen. But if I didn't, I found her instantly, and this is why. Because OneCube and Social Bro, I think, have the ability for you to do open text searches on any attribute of your followers. So that's really powerful. So let's stop a moment and talk about platforms. Social media platforms amplify your efforts and make you more efficient. They're a must use. And I bet a lot of you use platforms like Hootsuite and TweetDeck and some other things just to manage your everyday Twitter experience. There's a bunch of good ones out there that can help bloggers analyze their social streams and engage in them more effectively. We're just going to bang through a bunch of those. I'm not going to get into each one and their specific attributes. But there's a bunch of good stuff out there, and I bet a lot of you are using these now. This is the one that you're going to want to pay attention to in about 4 weeks. So there's always this debate, especially in SoMe circles and in, I would think, the blogosphere especially, is there's always free platforms and there's stuff that you pay for. And a lot of people don't like to pay for things. And I don't blame you, because a lot of things that you pay for aren't worth it. So most platforms have some type of free option or free trial, and then there's some that charge you a monthly subscription fee. So we're going to get into a little kind of calculus as when it's worth for you to pay a monthly subscription fee. And this is something that Lena touched on, this whole idea that time is money. Or as she said, it's not money, but time is valuable, right? Your time is valuable most of all. Actually, time is money in that stupid Justin Timberlake movie where you actually paid for stuff with time. So the idea is here is, should you pay? Here's some simple calculus. And so time isn't money, Lena was right, but there is such thing as a time value of money. It's very important. What your personal time is worth, put a number on it just to help you make internal ROI calculations. Whether investing an hour of your time is worthwhile, are you going to get that value back in some form of ROI to your blog or your business? So let's just say you value your time at $60 an hour. And looking in, and you decide to dive into your followers just randomly, and you go spend 2 hours looking for that person that's talking about bacon. That's $120 worth of opportunity cost. It's not cash that you spent, but it's your own personal opportunity cost that you forfeited by doing that and not doing something else. So if a $50 a month platform does the same task in 5 minutes, the equivalent cost of your time was $5. That could be really worth it. But more importantly, what you got back, she got back an hour and 55 minutes to do something else. To do more searches, to write another blog post, to spend time with your kids, to read a book, to do whatever except doing something that technology could have done for you faster. So that's a big consideration. I hope you guys consider this every time that you do something to further your business, is figure out the time value of it to you personally, and figure out whether it's worth it to use technology or do it manually. So building an audience outside of your following. So we've already, I hope you agree that spending some time a day reinvesting in your existing following, who you already have a first-party relationship with, is a good idea. Well, what's the best way to connect with relevant audiences outside of your following? For us in Internet Media Labs, the answer is really simple. It all starts here. It's in the hashtag. Hashtags to us are the gateway to discovery and power. They are signals in the noise. They are beacons that let you find content, individuals, and community quickly. And I can't stress this enough. We think that hashtags for businesses, communities, and brands are the best and quickest way to connect with people that are relevant to your business or yourself individually. Hashtags are used for many things. This is just some of them. Search a topic by keyword to create a tribe and a community, to brand a conference like we've done today, to create a Twitter chat, or to follow live television events like hashtag The Voice, which is using hashtags quite successfully to build a convergent community. So each one of these presents an opportunity for you to go into that hashtag, look who's conversing there, and see if they're relevant to what you're doing, and start a relationship with them. Tom, oh, sorry. So, simple hashtag strategy that I coach any of our clients or friends or businesses that are going to use our technology, especially when you're just getting started. Go back to that word cloud that you created about who your customers are, and who reads your blog, and who your best case connection would be. Let's pick 5 relevant hashtags that would kind of describe that audience, where they're hanging out, what they're talking about. Let's monitor and engage those hashtags every day. The goal, 5 to 10 new engagements every day. Now this can be done, I call it the 15, 30 minute a day kind of sessions, like 15-minute abs for your Twitter following. Set aside some time, make it simple in the beginning, a block, 15 minutes every day. Could be 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at lunch, 5 minutes at night. Do it all together, do it at lunch when you're eating your sandwich. But commit to just giving yourself 15 minutes to find new people to engage with that are relevant to what you're doing online. Then engage those people. Follow them, retweet them, favorite them, save them to a list, which I think is very important, especially when you find somebody. It all starts here, I think, because that's where you start listening. If you put somebody on a list, they're going to get a nice acknowledgement, and they'll probably acknowledge you back and probably refollow you or put you on a list. But this is where you start listening, and this is where you start to get to know them. These other things are, these are nice little Twitter gifts that you can give people. You can follow them, retweet, favorite, and it's really simple to do. 15 to 30 minutes a day doing this every day. There's no reason not to do it on Saturdays and Sundays, because Twitter does not shut down on Saturdays and Sundays. The math adds up to this: 10 engagements a day times 30 days times 3 months. It's 900 relevant engagements. I guarantee you, if you even did a fraction of this, that your audience and your engagements and then your potential for real relationships and advocacy will grow. It's a fact. I guarantee it, or your money back. So, use a platform to help you with the task. You can use Twitter. You can use Hootsuite somewhat. Tweet reach is one way to do it. Hash tracking is a good way to persistently monitor hashtags. OneCube is going to have incredible persistent hashtag tracking functionality. I think you're all going to really groove on. And our visual hashtag tracking platform, Seesaw, which is available now at sees.aw. If you go to that homepage and you put a hashtag in the box and you hit submit, you're going to see whatever you're looking for start to present itself, and it's going to present itself in a really cool visual way, which will allow you to connect with great people and great content faster. So once you've found somebody, a prospect, let's call them, considering engaging them, you got to really drill past the Twitter bio. You got to go deeper into who they are to see if they're going to be a really good connection. Because remember, quality is so much more important than quantity. And I think we've heard that it's it's not the big audience. It's the quality of your audience. Look at their recent tweets, and really important, visit their website. Go into their link if they have one. 70% of Twitter bios do have a link. Even if it's their About Me page, you'll learn a little bit more about them. You'll also see other social touch points like Facebook pages and LinkedIn pages that you can connect with them with. Then ask yourself these questions. Are they conversational? Are they topically relevant to you? Are they connected with people that I'm connected to? This is a big one, because if somebody's connected to somebody you already have a relationship with, you can use that as kind of like a fulcrum to jumpstart a relationship with them. If the answer is yes to 2 or more of these, it's probably a good, let's call them a prospect. It's a good person to start to try to build a relationship with. So in our OneCube technology, which is coming down the pike, we're going to do a lot of the deep drilling for you with the push of a button. Now, it's not going to be cheating, but it's going to just get you to that point faster and stop you from doing it on a manual basis. So our subject, Mr. Return on Relationship, Ted Rubin. Probably nobody in this room that doesn't know who Ted is. Using the deep drill, I get Ted's Twitter bio. This is really cool. I also get Ted's social graph. These are people that Ted is having active @reply conversations with. So not only can I connect to Ted, I can also see who he's talking to, see if we have some commonality in here, or maybe start hitting up some of these people as interesting people to follow also. And then we also drill into Ted's website. We pull back metadata. There's a lot of other stuff behind this, but we're also automatically kind of presenting what's in Ted's website, and we've kind of encapsulated it for you. So you don't have to go to the website. You can have it all encapsulated here. You can hit his other social touch points. You can connect to his contact form and leave a message. And so this is all, again, taking a very manual process and using technology to automate it to get you to the endpoint quicker. Next step, relationship building, which I'm sure you're all very good at, and a lot of this is going to be redundant. You find great new people to engage with, it's time to start building relationships with them. Put them on a list, pay attention to what they're saying, always look for opportunities to engage, give them those social gifts, and be present as often as possible. When you're present, you are increasing the chances of serendipity, one of my favorite Twitter words, one of my favorite words in general. Serendipity is the magic word, and the definition is an aptitude to make a desirable discovery by accident, good fortune, or luck. In Twitter serendipity happens all the time. It's happened to me many times where I was in the right place in the right time. I saw a tweet came through that was relevant to me that I could add value to, and I engaged, and that engagement became a relationship, and a lot of those relationships have blossomed into real offline relationships, people that I'm doing business with, or people that are introducing me to people I could do business with, and I'm reciprocating. So it happens when you're in the right place in the right time. But you can create serendipity where desirable discoveries await. What does that mean? So let's say I know that this event is happening, but I can't be here. But I know this crowd, the blogger crowd, would be good people for me to connect with. I can track, knowing that this event is coming, I can put myself in a position to create serendipity by tracking this hashtag remotely online and then looking for great opportunities to engage. So be aware and separate. When you're aware, serendipitous opportunities will come to you. Everybody remembers, or I hope remembers, the movie Groundhog Day, right? One of the first movies I saw with my wife when we were dating was the first movie. She hated it, I loved it, it's still one of my favorites. So it just shows you that you can have a successful 18-year marriage and have wildly divergent tastes in movies. So at the end of the movie, Bill Murray goes around and he saves everybody. Why? Because he knew those events were going to happen. He had been in that world, the director, Harold Ramis said, for 10 years. So he knew when the kid was going to drop out of the tree. And he was able to save the kid from dying because he was able to catch them. So recognize where serendipity can happen and then be there for it and be able to catch it when it falls out of the sky. Another thing that I like to do, Tom, you can just bang through this, is practice some social forensics. Analyze how you met somebody, what were the occurrences of that, but take it back a step further. Why did you even come to that point, and why were you able to make that connection with somebody? I just had a very serendipitous moment with somebody that retweeted one of my tweets. And we ended up having a phone conversation this week, and she's going to start putting Seesaw in front of her clients. So it was really amazing. But the reason she even retweeted my tweet is because Pam Moore at Pam Marketing Nut asked me to create a custom Seesaw board for her and the iSummit. So, and I met Pam, I formed a relationship with her at the IBM conference 2 weeks ago. And I was at the IBM conference 2 weeks ago because Ted Turner recommended me to their social team. So you see that serendipitous relationship with her started with Ted. So when you start doing those social forensics and kind of building your tree of connections, sometimes it's not the obvious choice. And also it's not what's going to happen from that first relationship, but what could come and what could spread after it. So the last step, building advocacy. Honestly, I got lazy here. I didn't feel like doing the bullets. And we'll just wrap it up. I'm sure true advocacy for me happens in real life. It happens at events like this. I bet there's a bunch of you that have known each other from Triber but never met each other in person. So this is an amazing opportunity to build deeper relationships and strong advocacy. Create a plan to move your best social relationships that you haven't met yet, move them to the real world. Ask for a phone call. Have a Skype session, which is always great because you get to see the person. Make a plan to meet at conferences. Grab a cup of coffee if they're local. The idea is to move out of 140 and move into being conversational, because in my opinion, the passion for what you do and what you're about really only comes through when you talk to people. And it's been the magic for me in taking those Twitter relationships and moving them to IRL. And remember, this is important, this has been touched on also as a key theme here, advocacy is mutual. It's not a one-way street. You want people to advocate for you, you have to be willing to advocate for them. This is it, the recap. Create a plan, define your audience, start with existing followers, dig into them, create a hashtag monitoring strategy, put yourself in a position to experience serendipity, very important. Actively build social relationships with your best connections. Escalate online relationships to real life when you can. Advocate for others without thought of reciprocation. It's a big Ted Rubin return on relationship thing, that he gives freely with no expectation in return, but what he gets back is amplified many times. And of course, always, be authentic and honest, always. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.